Okay, I'm going to try to speedrun this because I respect your time, but I'm also going to try to make it coherent and understandable. So if you want a sort of tiling manager setup on KDE just like this, where auto tiling is enabled and whatnot, then this is the video for you. So I'm going to go over everything real quick, and the first thing is rofi, which I say is optional because, you know, you see a lot of tiling window manager users using something like this. But the way my setup is configured, I can just hit super to get an overview, and you know, you can search for programs up here, so it's the same thing. It's just if you want a nice launcher, pretty much. Next thing we're going to go over is Krohnkite, which is a Keybinds script that if you go in here and you look, you'll see it as one of the first ones. So yeah, I haven't changed too many of the default settings. I think the orders look a little bit different, but I've changed it so that the binary tree is the default one. You can mess with this on your own and figure out which one you like. And then I have set the gaps to 10 pixels between windows and whatnot. This is also completely up to you, what you prefer. And then for behavior, I've just left it on directional. So when I hold super and I use the arrow keys, I can go between active windows. So that's pretty nice. And I think that's all. So you just install this and then change whatever you prefer. And then to see the changes immediately, just untick it, apply, check it again, and apply again for the settings to apply. Additionally, just to be sure, you can log out and log back in. Speaking of logging out and logging back in, we're going to go to the SDDM log screen that I have, which is QYLock by darkcal44 on GitHub, which looks like this. I will leave a link in the description for this GitHub page. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see every single theme that he has made that is available. And mine is not on here, but I just took the sword theme and changed a few things. Also, I prefer not having a video as the login screen just to match my wallpaper, but you can totally have a video. You can use basically any video you want or any wallpaper that you want. Just in case it's not obvious, you can actually change it very easily without having to mess with a bunch of files. So I've changed it a little bit. So the theme.conf in the background video, you see where it says source and background, I've just changed it to 2.jpg. And then basically if I ever want to change the background for the theme, I can just rename any file to 2.jpg. Obviously if it's a different format, then you're going to have to go and change it, but I just changed it in these two files if I ever want to change it real quick. Okay, let's talk about panel widgets. So I only have 3 that I use for this setup. So the first one is K-Vitals, just to see, you know, everything that I want to see on the fly. Super useful, and I do prefer having it in the middle so that I can just look straight up and it's right there instead of in the corners where I sometimes, I kind of have to move my head to see it, such as the clock, which is why it's over here because it's not that important. Next thing I have is the window title fork. Because I don't have any borders or title bars around my windows, I do want to be able to see the title of the window that I'm in, and this is what this widget is for. So I changed the settings a little bit, but you can mess around with that and get it to your liking. And then the final one is the Plasma GNOME pager to show what workspace I'm currently on. And I don't think I changed too many settings here. This also works with the scroll wheel, so you can go through them like that. But I also use mainly the super and then 1 through 6 keys. And then for the active window indicator, as you can see when I open different windows, it is very obvious which one I am in. And that is thanks to a very simple window decoration called Active Accent Frame. Supposedly it's right here in the store, but I wasn't able to find it no matter what I searched for, so I had to download it manually, which I did on the website. So I just downloaded the latest version and I extracted it into this directory right here. And then it'll show up in settings and you just select it and apply, and it basically does what it's supposed to do because that is all it is. It gets rid of everything except for the border. And then finally, I have a few things that I've had to change because of the way my system is set up. So the first one is because I use super 1 through 6 to toggle between my workspaces, I've had to disable the shortcuts for Activate Task Manager entry. By default, when you have a panel and you have the icons in the panel, you can open them by hitting super plus 1 through 10 in the order that they appear in. So I've had to just disable these so they don't conflict with each other. The second thing I did, which admittedly I don't know if it's actually necessary, but I just added workspaces in here so that I always have the number of workspaces that I want to have whenever I log into my system. And then the final thing I did, I use the KDE terminal. If you use a different terminal, then this might be different for you. I'm not sure because I've never used anything other than KDE. But because KDE doesn't respect the global shortcut for super Q to kill an active window, I've had to map super Q to close the window inside KDE. And then additionally, I also have super shift E to load the config file, which is useful for when I'm making changes. I can just quickly super shift E to see the changes immediately. This is nice when I'm making new themes and I'm previewing them real quick without having to open and reopen KDE. And yeah, other than that, I just have a few shortcuts, like I said, the super key right here, which shows the current workspace and the windows that are open in that workspace, as well as super W to show you all the windows I have open across all workspaces. And if you click on, this one, then it'll take you to the workspace that it's open in, just in case you forgot where it was. Like I said at the beginning, I have super D for rofi, I have super 1 through 6 for the workspaces, and then I have a bunch of custom keybinds such as super S for settings, Q for kill window, I have super B for my browser. So yeah, that is basically how to become a tiling window manager LARPer while still reaping the benefits of KDE Plasma. Hope you enjoyed.